next week. Fantastic. So we are starting off this morning with a couple of beautiful kriyas just to help us to arrive. And the first one many of you are familiar with, it's our jivha bandha. Jivha means tongue and bandha means to bind or to seal. So we access our jivha bandha by gently sealing the tongue up against the hard palate, making sure that there's no tongue thrust. We don't want the tip of the tongue pushing against the top teeth. And just apply your own natural sucking or swallowing reflex, feeling that the tongue has just nicely hermetically sealed itself there. And when you're ready, please begin to gently hinge the lower jaw open, keeping the tongue sealed against the roof of the mouth, so that you receive a lovely stretch of the frenulum, that piece of connective tissue that ties the tongue into the lower jaw. And just enjoy that little stretch before perhaps allowing the tongue to gently pop off the roof of the mouth and pick up another round. I'm aware that many of you are well versed in this technique. And so if that's you, you might like to pause when your mouth is about halfway open and just attempt to peel the teeth a little bit further, or peel the lips a little bit further away from the teeth, like this. And you can be quite animated with your facial expressions. If you know that you clench or grind your teeth, then feel free to take a few extra rounds. But we'll move on now into our Agni Sara. Agni Sara is the precursor to Kapalabhati, which is where we are eventually heading. Agni, of course, as you know, means fire. Sara means essence. And so Agni Sara is very much about purifying and stimulating the essence of digestion, our Jattara Agni. You can perform this Kriya sitting or standing. I'm going to stand just so that you can see what we're doing. And I'm sorry, I know it's very early in the morning to have to look at my midsection, but here we go. So you can do this from a seated position. I just want you to see what we're doing here. We're going to just allow the back, the upper back, to round out a little bit. And you might like to brace your hands on your knees or your legs and just let that upper back round out and exhale as fully as you can. And then on the held exhale, we're going to pump the belly 5 times. And then take a controlled, calm inhale, a controlled, calm exhale. And then again, round the back, gently brace the arms, and 5 pumps. Making sure that there is no tension or strain. It can be quite a nice addition in preparation for Uddiyana Bandha to tuck the chin and gently gaze in the direction of the navel whilst you're pumping. And if you are able to get more than 5 pumps out in a held exhale, then that is, of course, fine. But 5 is a good place to start. The key indicator is that tension or strain that we're really doing everything we can to avoid. So you can have a play with the number of repetitions or pumps that you perform on the exhale, just as long as you don't push it past that point of tension. Good. And when you're ready, we'll let go of our Agnisara and move into our Simhasana, taking an inhale through the nose, nice and relaxed, just in your upright seat. And as you exhale, please throw the exhale out really enthusiastically, sticking the tongue toward the tip of the chin and taking your eyes up nice and high toward the forehead like this. Can you really stretch the tongue? Take the tip of the tongue down as far toward the chin as you can and lift your eyes up as high toward the brow center as possible. It's not unusual for this Kriya to stoke our coughing reflex, especially if you are recovering from a bout of respiratory illness. So if that happens, please just go with it. And we want to feel that the throat is starting to warm. It is a stimulating Kriya. Good. Letting that go now and just taking a little pause to check in, shining the spotlight of your awareness on your internal terrain. It is not uncommon at this stage to perhaps notice that the nose is running a little bit. There may be, especially over the next 6 weeks, a lot of these more mucousy secretions that start to arise during our sadhana when we are stoking that fire element. And so if that's you, of course, use a tissue and get rid of that melting kapha dosha so that we can move on. Please come to establish yourself now in your upright seat for the breath practice. You are so welcome to sit in a chair as long as your feet are flat on the floor. It is paramount that you have arrived in a seat that you are able to sit in comfortably. We're looking for stiram and sukham, steadiness and ease. You might like to take a couple of rounds of your reset breath if that is what you'd like to do to help you settle. And when you're ready, please bring your tongue to rest flat against the ceiling of your mouth. Allow the jaw to relax and come to meet your breath. Moving your breath very slowly and very smoothly in and out through the nose. Directing your eyes in the bridge of the nose to be. And for now, simply allow yourself to be content to settle here. Bringing your full attention to the rhythm of the breath. A portion of your awareness resting within the channels of the nostrils. Perhaps allowing yourself to notice the cool air as it enters the nose, the slightly warmer air leaving the nostrils. Allowing some of your attention to drop down into the belly and the rib cage. I'm feeling a very free and full movement of the ribs and the belly as you breathe. Softening the shoulders, softening the face. And when you are ready, please welcome the familiar tone and texture of your ujjayi, a very gentle hug of the windpipe toward the back of the throat. Just enough to lightly constrict the airway. Becoming curious as to the tone and the texture of the breath. Listening intently to the sound of your breathing. Creating a sound that is very sibilant and smooth, gentle and oceanic. Perhaps becoming aware of how the textural quality of the ujjayi allows you to trace its borders, its shape as it moves in the lungs. Tongue rests against the roof of the mouth. Eye gaze directed gently down toward the nose. Establishing our Samavritti one rhythm now. When you are ready, please begin to notice how long your inhalations are this morning. Counting a few consecutive breath cycles. And once you have ascertained where your inhale has landed today, please bring your exhalation up to meet and to match. Allow your mind to be anchored in the count. Your physical senses engaged in the felt experience of either side of the breath. Becoming curious now as to the different quality of the inhale versus the exhale. The rising, swelling ascendancy of the inhalation and the soothing, emptying drop down of the exhalation. Keep your mind anchored in the count. And when you are ready, please begin to stretch your inhalation out to twice its current length. The challenge will always be on the longer side of the breath. Please use the gentle hug of your windpipe, your ujjayi, to help you slow the inhale down. Stretching the inhale smoothly across the long count. Encouraging the rib cage and the belly to expand to accommodate the long inhale. Keep your mind anchored in the count. Stay with this. If your mind wanders, gently and lovingly invite yourself back. At the end of your next exhale, surrendering that cadence, letting go of the ujjayi. Allow your breath to return to its quiet, unmanipulated state. And simply notice how you have arrived here. Curious as to the sensations, inhabiting the space that you have created. When you are ready, very gently and very carefully, with minimal disruption, Allow your attention to come back into the room as we take a brief pause here to unpack a few technical details. As the month progresses, there will be fewer interruptions to the stream of practice, but I'm sure you understand the necessity for me to just cover off a few important techniques. We have established ourselves, hopefully, in a good space. And one thing I wanted to say is that you will likely notice that your breath count changes from day to day. So I want you please to just remember where your cadence, where your Samavritti 1 landed for you this morning, because that will be the foundational rhythm that you'll work on for the rest of the practice. We are about to head into a combination of Surya Vedana, which is the inhale through the right nostril, exhale through the left nostril, with a 2-1 ratio. So the inhale twice as long as the exhale. A little reminder that it's not uncommon to notice one of your nostrils feeling more open than the other. And this is why I've asked you to have a tennis ball handy. If you don't have a tennis ball or the tennis ball is too big, you can use a rolled up pair of socks. And the idea is if you notice one of your nostrils feeling a little bit occluded, then place that prop underneath the opposite armpit and continue breathing and working with that little stimulation, that little support in the opposite armpit to the nostril that feels blocked. The second little technical detail we need to unpack is the use of Jalandhara bandha during a pause, a retention after inhale, because this is where we're headed. Now, for this morning, I'm not going to cue Jalandhara bandha. We don't really technically need Jalandhara bandha unless the retention is longer than 10 seconds. But I'm just highlighting that that is eventually where we are heading. From our Surya Vedana 2-1 ratio, we're going to then eventually today add a pause after inhale. Now, this is our Antara Kumbhaka, the pause at the top of the inhale. And I like to describe this as a space of contained expansion. And so when we do pause, I'm going to leave quite a bit of space and silence for you to be really present with the technique. When we pause, just really allowing yourself to visualize and experience the abdomen like a beautiful pot, a kumbha that is containing the pressure of that retained inhale, always without tension or strain. And then we'll take our Surya Vedana exhale through the right nostril. That's enough talking from me. Let's get back into our space, please, when you're ready. Just closing down the eyes. And we might take a couple of rounds of our reset breath to cleanse the pranic palate. So just exhaling. And now take a big boisterous inhale through the nose. Hold on to that. Take a second top up inhale and out through the mouth slowly. Good. Again, big nasal inhale. Hold on to that. Top it up and out through the mouth. Bring your tongue to nestle against the roof of your mouth. Relax the jaw and drop back down into your Ujjayi breath. We use the Ujjayi consistently throughout. Come back to settle in your Samavritti 1, the even inhale and exhale. And allow your mind to settle into the process of maintaining the count. as you listen and sense into the quality of that ujjayi breath. When you feel that you are settled, please pick up your ratio of 2 to 1, doubling the length of your inhale. Rib cage and belly move freely to accommodate the long inhale. Tongue rests against the ceiling of the mouth. The eyes gazing gently down toward the nose. Noticing the nostrils. And if you sense that you need your tennis ball or prop under one of your armpits, please pop it there now. Moving into our Surya Vedana, gently sealing off your left nostril. Take your long inhale through the right nostril with full attention. Sealing the right nostril. The short exhale through the left nostril. Long inhale, right. Short exhale, left. Long inhale, right. Short exhale, left. Allow yourself to settle in this pattern and this rhythm. You might like to rest the elbow of your working arm in the palm of the opposite hand, creating a shelf so that there is no tension in the shoulders. If you notice any movement of kapha dosha in the form of mucus, please pause, blow your nose, and come back to settle. As the breath moves from nostril to nostril, please take your full attention with it. Inhaling right nostril. Exhaling left nostril. Stay with this. At the top of your next inhalation, sealing both nostrils and hold for the same length as the inhale. And exhaling half length through the right nostril, the left nostril. This is a ratio 2-to-1. A long inhale through the right nostril. A pause after inhale for the same length as the inhale. A half length exhale through the left nostril. In your Antara Kumbhaka, the pause after inhale, remain very present with the sensations in the abdomen. No strain. Ensure the tongue remains against the hard palate. Keep your mind anchored in the count. At the end of your next exhale through the left nostril, allow your hands to come to rest in your lap, surrendering the count, the technique, and simply sit and watch. Present with the sensations that rise and fall. Inhabiting the space that you have created. Smoothing that out and balancing the system now with our Brahmari pranayama. Please inhale through the nose. Use your Ujjayi technique. And exhale with sound. Allowing that sound to reverberate through the jaw, bringing it up into the head. And stay with your Brahmari now, please. There is no counting. The exhale naturally becomes longer than the inhale. Remain very attentive to the vibration of the exhale. moving your attention and the sound up into the head as you exhale, and allowing the sound to gently peter out as you sense yourself running out of exhale. And at the end of your next exhale with sound, letting go of the Brahmari and carefully making your way onto your back for your Shavasana. Taking your time, of course, to prop yourself in whatever way you enjoy, perhaps with a bolster beneath the knees to support the lower back. Try to avoid unnecessary fidgeting and come to settle quickly. In yoga and Ayurveda, we connect with the element of space, akasha, most readily through our sense of listening, of sound, shabda. This morning, as you settle into your Shavasana to absorb and metabolize your practice, there will be no prompting from me. Rather, I invite you to connect with the space that you've created by listening carefully to all of the sounds that rise and fall for the next few minutes. Experiencing yourself as the witness to the sound without reaction or preference, and wait for the sound of my voice to summon you back. And allow your breath to deepen slightly now. As you invite some gentle, sparkling movements to the fingers and the toes. Rotating wrists and ankles. And swallowing to lubricate the throat. Maybe enjoying a lovely yawn and a stretch. Please take your time to slowly roll onto your right hand side. If you have slightly low blood pressure, then roll to the left. And take your time to carefully curl your way back to an upright seat. As you arrive in your seat, remaining for just a moment with your eyes closed. Just noticing how you have arrived here at the end of your practice and the start of your day. Floating the palms to meet one another in front of your heart, or if you prefer, just rest one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. As we punctuate the end of our practice, as always, with gratitude and acknowledgement, offering our thanks for the gift of this day, our lives and our health. As we extend our respects and acknowledgements to one another, this shared experience, and to the custodians of this living tradition. As always, my beautiful friends, my most sincere respect, gratitude, and affection to you all. Thank you for your company this month. Remember, your keywords in practice and lifestyle are warmth, stimulation, and movement as we work over the next 6 weeks to prepare the ground for an easeful spring. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll see you next week. Massive quantities of love. Mwah, 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 mwah. Okay, bye.